Hello everyone, Ryan here. So I just saw the recent remake of It. Of course, It is adapted from a novel by Stephen King of the same title. And while I will admit I was never a fan of It to begin with, I did see the original movie when it came out in the 90s, I believe. Or if not, or if it didn't come out in the 90s, I saw it in the early 90s. That was the first time I saw it. Of course, I was a young kid back then. But then I saw it a second time, I want to say maybe like 6 or 7 years after it originally came out. And I found it to be very cheesy. Just very, very cheesy, corny. Some of the scenes would drag on for far too long, in my opinion. So after that, I didn't even want to attempt to read the novel. But after seeing this recent remake, it definitely makes me want to read the novel. I really like this. Of course, if you're not familiar with the story, essentially it is about a group of kids who live in this small town in Maine, and they eventually find out that for whatever reason, once every 27 years, this manifestation of a clown, psychotic clown, shows up and starts kidnapping kids, also terrorizing kids, with the intent of kidnapping them, also hurting them. And pretty much to me, Pennywise just represents this manifestation of fear. I mean, of course I'm open to the fact that I might be wrong about that interpretation. But I also feel like it's one of those stories that is definitely very open to each individual's own interpretation. I mean, as far as this movie goes, I mean, I will say the acting is really great. The group of kids in this movie, I don't know who cast them, who found them, but they did an excellent job. I haven't seen any of these kids, maybe with the exception of one or two of them. But honestly, I can't say that I'm familiar with their body of acting work. I'm sure some people are. But yeah, definitely these group of kids, they did an awesome job acting. And I mean, there were a lot of moments when I actually forgot for like a couple seconds here and there that they were just kids, because the way in which they would deliver lines, it was like the kind of thing that I've come to expect from adult actors. And so yeah, it was really great. It definitely kept me riveted, and the story too is definitely very intriguing. In this movie and this remake, I'm glad that it doesn't come off as too cheesy or too corny. You know, it's got like just the right amount of horror elements to it, but also psychological thriller elements to it, and the right amount of suspense, the right amount of action, the right amount of comedic timing. And one of the kids delivers the most hilarious lines, and yeah, he delivers them with great precision. And so definitely there was parts that made me laugh, parts that made me fear for the kids, and ultimately just kept me glued to the screen, wanting to know more. And yeah, I would say, you know, if I were the type of person that's scared easily, I definitely would have been completely terrified by a lot of the scenes in this movie. Yeah, it's of course I don't know who the actor is that played Pennywise. I want to say it's something Skarsgård, or because I know he's definitely not the same guy that played Pennywise in the original It movie. Definitely a younger guy, but yeah, this new guy, I don't know, whoever he is, definitely did an awesome job. He got the character down really, really tight, and he really tapped into that whole psychotic clown mentality. And so yeah, ultimately, I mean, I can't speak highly of it enough. Of course, I don't want to give away too much of it, but I will say towards the end, for me, towards the end, like the last, I want to say 20-30 minutes, that's when it really got really intense, and the kids face off against Pennywise. And even that part, it played out so well. It wasn't like too, it didn't come off in a way that made you think like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to believe that these kids are fighting this imaginary clown or whatever the hell it is. It didn't really come off like that. I mean, maybe I can kind of see for some people it would, but for me it didn't. It was just, it happened in a way that I pretty much expected it to happen. And not that I, on a daily basis, I don't imagine, how something like this would unfold in reality. But yeah, because of this movie, if I had to imagine how such a thing would unfold, I fear it would happen exactly like it did in this movie. And then, of course, ultimately, there will be a sequel, because this remake is just a remake of what is referred to as Chapter 1 of the It story. Because it's my understanding in the next one, it will show the same group of kids, but much older. I want to say, well, yeah, definitely at least like 27 years older. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know who they could possibly cast to play these older versions of these kids, or if maybe they're going to try to wait for some of these kids to get a little older, or do something with CGI to make them look a little older. Hey, I don't know. The technology is getting pretty advanced nowadays, so. But yeah, I definitely look forward to the sequel. As far as the rating goes for this, I gotta give it 10 out of 10. Because yeah, it was like the perfect balance for me. Perfect balance of horror, psychological thriller, suspense, comedy, mystery, fantasy. Also, I liked that it's a big nod to the late 1980s, and because I grew up in that time period. Well, I was born in the 80s and then raised in the 90s, but I pretty much grew up in the late 80s, early 90s, so I like that because there was a lot of stuff in it that reminded me of a little bit of my own childhood too, so and that's always good. So yeah, definitely I give it a 10 out of 10. Go see it if you haven't already. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that, I guarantee you won't be disappointed. The only way I could see anybody being disappointed by this remake is if they're expecting it to be just a nonstop slaughter fest of this psychotic clown going around killing people for no reason. If that's what you're expecting, I'm telling you right now, that's not what it is. You will be disappointed if you're expecting that. So, don't expect that. But otherwise, if you're not expecting that, then I do encourage you to go see it. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for the remake of It. And that'll do it for my review. Thanks for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.